everybody. So today's video is actually, I'm just letting you know, all my videos are kind of getting mushed around because the way I've been working it is I have a whole bunch of videos that I've made, and I have a whole bunch of videos that come up. People ask me a question. This is one of those, and so everything gets, I tend to prioritize. If somebody asks a question, I prioritize the video. Every other video gets shoved down the line. So I'm going to thank everybody because you've pretty much given me like almost the entire summer off after I do this one and another one. I'm working on another one while I'm doing this one, but this came up and it's a kind of a follow-up to the inserts. So let me just, so as I talked about on one of my videos, the Model 24 has two inserts. I'm trying to remember, do not quote me on this, but I think the Model 12 has inserts right across, and that really annoyed me because I love inserts. Okay, so that's just something that I'm gonna come out and say. I wish they would have said, oh, you know what? Let's put inserts right across. Even if they would have went up to, because I know, like, if you look at this thing here, let's just pull it back. Yeah, this is for another video. Don't worry about this. Ignore this. Ignore the yellow cables. But like up to 12 here, they have nothing, and then it goes to stereo on 13, 15, 17, 19, and you know they could have easily put inserts up to here. I would have been like, hey, that's awesome. You know, that means that most of the board is covered with inserts, and then the stereo channels aren't. Which is fine with me. I would have been happy with that. All the model channels could have had inserts. So, that being said, yes. So here we have two inserts, and I was asked, so I'm going back to this here. I was asked, how would I hook this up to a patch bay? Now, I realized as of today, because I did some research, 'cause I've never really looked. I never really looked at the patch bay. I have a Signal Flex 32 port patch bay, which came with the rack that I bought. I bought the rack used from a friend, and he threw in the patch bay because he didn't need it anymore. And I'm like, okay, cool, because I've you know, when you have a rack, you need a patch bay. You either need an XLR patch bay. I have both. I have an XLR patch bay, a 16 channel. I think it's an Art Pro, or they just call themselves Art. I don't think everything is Pro, but it's an Art 16 channel XLR, and then I have the 32 channel quarter inch patch bay. I've never really fully understood how a patch bay worked, and honestly, I got lucky because what I was doing was correct. So what am I talking about? Well, let's switch over here. So there is this is from the Art 48 point patch bay, which it's pretty much normal. It's how patch bays are set up. It's quite common. I actually tested mine to see which one I was. So there's two. There's what they call half normal and normal. Now on this certain patch bay, they have a switch for each channel in the back part that you can turn it. You can switch how you want that. What behavior you want for that patch bay, for that section, and it's top down. So it's not across. So it's not like 1, 2. It's like, in my case, it's like 1 and 17. So one being the top, 17 being the bottom. That's how it works. So it goes by top down. So I can show you. I'll just pull this up. I found this as well. If you're looking for a small patch bay, this is an Art. It's an 8-channel patch bay, but it works the exact same way. This one, actually, if I show you, it comes with the buttons in the back, as its larger 48 point brother has. So as you can see, it's got 1, 5, 2, 8, or 2, 6, 3, 7, 4, 8. Trying not to make mistakes, because somebody decided to be a real stickler in my last video for mistakes. So trying not to do that this time. And at some point I'm going to talk about him, because never mind. Let's go back to what I was talking about here. So let's go back to this one. So in my case, mine is set up as normal. I'm not sure if I can switch it. I think, like I said, I haven't really pulled mine apart, but I think I can. But we're just going to talk about normal in this case. So yeah, so what I would do is for my insert, I would have my send go in the top and my return go in the bottom. And the reason is, if you look at, if we'll go scroll up to normal here, A, which means that you have nothing plugged in the front of it, it would come in and then loop around and back, and that's what you want on an insert. And like I said, with the if you see that little eight channel one that I showed you, works the exact same way. And honestly, in this case of having only 2 inserts and you just want it for the inserts, that would be a perfect option to do. So you get yourself a splitter of some sort, like so you have your TRS and then you split it into 2 monos, and then you would run it through, so that way if you're not using it, you won't lose your signal. It'll just go around and around and around. So that's what you want. So that I thought was interesting. So yeah, so mine works, like I said, mine works the way that this normal is here. So when I have something plugged in just the top, the bottom half doesn't affect at all. And same with if I plug something in the bottom, it only uses the bottom half. And then so in the case where I'm doing where you have a proper insert in, it goes top and bottom, which is what you want. So now I love this half normal thing, and I saw this and I'm like, you know what, that is kind of cool, and I could probably find a use for it. The only difference with the half normal is when you plug in the top, it then it routes it to go through the bottom. So if you have an insert on your machine, like if you're using your insert and you have a signal going through the top, you can collect that signal and still have it loop around and go back into the system, so it's still going into the system like it would normally, but now you have the ability to do something else with that signal. Whereas on the normal, which is what I have, I don't know if I can change it. I'm gonna, at some point in my life, I'm gonna have to take it off and take a look. I'm seriously considering getting a larger one, simply because I have 32 channels and I want to add more items to it, but that's another story. But yeah, that would be kind of cool, because then like for doing something like reamping or something, or you want to take the signal and use it for something else, you can do that. You can pull it off and then put it somewhere else, and then have the signal go somewhere else, but still collect the signal back, so you're not losing anything. That is, to me, a great idea. So to answer the question once more, for me, what I was doing, which was correct, is I was going from here, and I had, I'm not going to get these right, but whichever is the send, I had it going to the top. Whichever is the return, I had it going to the bottom, and then that way I was always using it correctly. But the funny part is when I was using my inserts, I didn't think that's how the patch tray worked. I thought they were all individual items, and each plug was individual. And I'm being honest with you there. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a professional at this. I was not trained. This is not what I was trained in, but that's what I thought. And so I was using it correctly, but I would always have it plugged into such as a compressor or something, and I would just, if I didn't need to use it, I would just bypass it. That's how I had it set up. But now that I know this, after playing with it, I'm like, oh, well, I had it right. So I just got lucky. So, and even at the moment, like certain things I have set up, they're incorrect. Like my effect sends are going, I'm not going to touch them, but they're going in, and they're not, and then I have the effect sends where I have effect 1 going in the top, effect 2 going in the bottom, and so that means that they're just kind of looping around themselves. But the thing is that I usually plug in to one, and then it will bypass the other. At least that's what I'm trying to remember, if that's the truth. So yes, so that's how I have it. So if I'm using the top one, it'll bring it across, and if I'm using the bottom one, it'll bring it across, and it'll block out the other one. So it's still working the way it's supposed to, just that when there's nothing in it, it's kind of completing its own circuit. So that is today's video. I'd like to thank, I can't remember the person's name, but I would like to thank whoever suggested this. Thank you very much. This is going to be Monday's video. And if you look behind me, so this is the other thing. Look behind me. Things have changed back there. I moved my shelf over there. I put a new shelf over there, trying to clean up. If you see my Instagram post, you'll see that. Trying to declutter as much as I can. Even though if you look over there, it looks very cluttered. But that's all binders and that, and I like having them all set together. So, yeah, that's today's video. And I'm sorry I'm rambling on again. So other videos, when you look at other videos coming up, they're going to look different. It's just the way it's going to be. So once again, thank you, and I will talk to you later. Bye.
Win and lose when you play this game. Don't know where to start. Left alone, standing in the